Oh goodness. I done hit a Prius. Cryptids, what is going on? It is me, Mississippi Gonzo Grunge, aka Breadcorn, back with a classic review on the Vapid Sandking. As this is going to be a part of another collection video I decided to do, because, you know, why not? I reviewed these before, back when I started this channel. So, yeah, let's get into it. We all know it is based off of an F-250. So, yeah, there's that. One of the base vehicles in the game. It's actually one of the... Now, in terms of off-roading, you know, it's got great suspension, alright? But, you know, it does have the tendency to bounce. So there is that. But in terms of, does this make the top 10? It makes it in at number 10, to me. But, you know, some people are going to get mad over that. It's like, how dare you underrate this vehicle? Well, there's better off-roaders in the game now compared to this one. You know, not only speed-wise, but just, you know, performance-wise. That was a mistake on my part. Back it up and swing it. So, yes. And, you know, the reason why I put it in at number 10 is, you know, because there's better off-roaders out there that actually put this one to shame. But, you know, for the time it was considered one of the best. I didn't think it was. I still don't. You know, that's just a personal preference. But when it comes down to this one versus the long wheelbase, well, the short wheelbase I meant to say. Yeah, the standard extended cab version. Well, is there any real difference between the two? Yes. The other one can get you into more questionable places. This one doesn't. And that's just mostly due to its ride height. Well, not its ride height, its wheelbase. Its length, I should say. So there is that you have to, you know, watch out for. However, this is actually one of the few off-roaders that can take the coastline. But it does have one downside, and it's the fact it's not beefy. You know, it doesn't have, you know, the torque and the acceleration to make it pass some stuff. However, it does have decent brakes. So there is that. That's the one thing I would say, you know, watch out for. So that's kind of been a big thing with me when it comes to this one. Kind of tired in the morning. But, you know, its ride height does play into a big advantage when it comes to rock crawling and even, you know, crossing some of the deeper waters. But it can still flood out, which that does happen with this one quite a bit. So there is that. Oh, I hear the jet. There she goes. Well, at least the jet ain't blew itself up like last time. There's kind of a plus, a big plus, that the Jeep didn't blow itself up. Yeah, I remember back in the day I called the Sand King overrated, because in all honesty, it was, until some of the other off-roaders came out that were decent. You'd be surprised how many people hated that. Now, in terms of speed and handling, you know, don't look for it to do great in races. That was a bore. But in terms of its speed, you know, it's not one of the fastest off-roaders, but, you know, it will suffice for most police chases. And that's hitting a tree. but it can also book it. Oh goodness. I done hit a Prius with a Sand King. Oh well, gotta do it one time for at least the bunch in here. That's another vehicle I need to go back and review, because I reviewed one of those years ago. Kind of funny when you really get into it. But, you know, such as it is. Hill climbing. You know, granted, it can do some of the medium stuff well, but Mount Chiliad, forget it. That's where the ride height really counts against it. Why would I say that? Well, if you ever took it up the Paleto side of Mount Chiliad, you'll know why. You will flip this quite frequently. I remember that because we took some subscribers up Mount Chiliad once. And they kept flipping with Sand Kings, and we were like, you don't need a Sand King to conquer Mount Chiliad, which is the God's honest truth. Turn it around this way so I can get it up here so I can get it stopped. But yeah, it does have the decent traction even with it raining. So, you know, such as these things are, I almost like to have made a big mistake and went right down the mountain. But other than that, we're now going to go ahead and jump into the Sand King XL, so here it is. Alright, so here I am with the Sand King short wheelbase, which is what this is called. I mean, literally down there, SWB short wheelbase. So, the only main difference between these two is that this one tends to be a little bit quicker than the other one. But this one can also get you into places that the big one can't. But, you know, such as it is. You know, such as it is. So I figured, why not we just go ahead and review both of them. But yeah. What you see is what you get. So, yeah. But pretty much, deep water, you know, they both can take on deep water quite well. You know, I'm not what else to really say about the short wheelbase is that, you know, it performs slightly better than the other one. Well, than the XL. But, you know, I could point this out is that, you know, they could both stand to use a major upgrade. And by upgrade, I mean, you know, gone ahead and overhaul the motor, the transmission, the torque. You know, give us some better customization. Or they might give us a Sand King stock. You know, they did it with the Walton as of recent. But I decided to come back and review these because why not? Now, there are individuals to these. Stupid deer. But anyway. But yeah, I have done these before. So, I always link the off-road review, such as it is. You know, it's at the end of the video where the links will actually pop up. But yeah, like I said, these two can take on deep water like it's nobody's business. But I would like to see upgraded, you know, cosmetics. Because, you know, this thing has, like, the bare minimal. But, you know, keep in mind, this game came out in 2013. I still have the original poster that it came out with where it said it would release in the spring. That was before it got pushed back to September. Which is why I wasn't my big concern whenever I heard that, you know, GTA 6 was getting delayed. And then all these people crying on the internet, which, to be honest, is kind of the same thing again, but this time, you know, with 6. And there was people uploading videos of themselves crying over GTA 5 getting delayed, and it's like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? That's first world problems on full display. But let's continue. So yeah, I would like to see it where the Sand King actually does get some much needed cosmetics. You know, same with the Karen Rebel, because that one's also a really good off-roader. Probably one of the best ones out there. But yeah, for an OG base vehicle, it's free. You don't have to buy it. You can just go steal it off the street and, you know, put a tracker on it. So there is that. There's all kinds of other stuff, too. Kind of excited for some of the new stuff that's coming out. Well, but then again, I mostly play simulators this day and age outside of Grand Theft Auto. I would like to get back into playing Battlefield 1. That's what I would like to do. I don't know, maybe while I'm on the Riz, I'll probably download it. You know, such as it is. I would like to get around to live streaming it sometime. I hear the police. Well, never mind. But yeah, when it comes down to this one actually is way faster. But you know, it's a big truck. I don't expect it to handle like it's brand new. That's another vehicle I have to review because Slade swears up and down that the Fugitive is actually one of the best ones out there. Oh, goodness gracious. I went off in the ditch like Roscoe. So now we're back at it again, out of the ditch. There's a bunch of vehicles I need to review. Oh, yes. When it comes to... If you ever see me with in story mode, just know this is on the Legacy Edition because, A, I don't feel like playing story mode for the Enhanced. But yeah, this is from the Legacy Edition of GTA. But yes, in terms of performance, this one is slightly better than the XL. But this one can also take you places that the XL can't. And that's mostly due to this one having a shorter wheelbase. And yeah, I painted it up in the classic John Deere colors, because why not? See? You know, they both can climb up mostly anything in this game. You know, outside of Mount Chiliad, which this one, you'll have a challenge, but, you know, there's better off-roaders to do it in. But if you want a challenge to take on Mount Chiliad, well, then there's this one. You can take on Mount Chiliad with this one. You know, such as it is. I also like getting some of the... Oop. Yeah, this is how I also get screenshots, too. If it's decent. There's also a big airplane flying right over above us. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I also like getting little screenshots because that's how I make most of this stuff anyway. But other than that, I'm going to see y'all around for the next off-road review collection. I am Mississippi Gonzo Grunge. Now, as always, y'all do shoot the like button with a grip skittle if you enjoyed it. Please do comment down below any other collections you would like to see, because I am starting to do some more of them outside of getting some of the other ones finished up, because I need to get the Comet, the Coquette, construction vehicles, rally vehicles, and a bunch of other stuff. But, you know, such as it is. Now, as always, y'all do smash the subscribe button today, and be sure to click the notification bell icon, because I am finally live streaming. So, yeah, that's mostly just due to my work schedule. You know, it's been rather crazy at the time of this recording. But, you know, such as it is. Now, as always, y'all have a great day and a ballin' weekend. Don't do anything stupid. And you remember, take care of yourselves. So, y'all take care.